So today we have a very controversial topic to discuss, and it's very serious. So go ahead and strap in, get ready for this one. But Tony Ferguson and dear Tony Ferguson, if by some weird offsetting chance, some miracle, you happen to see this video and then it happens to blow up at the same time, if by some weird reason you're sitting in your living room right now and you see this video and you click on it and now you're watching it, I want you to know this. Please retire. It's done. It's over. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, recently he released a statement on his Instagram story saying that he is pretty much nowhere near retiring. And I'll go ahead and read this statement for you that he provided, but it is in Tony Ferguson language, so it's not really the most coherent sentence that you'll ever hear in your entire life. But I'll read it out to you guys anyways. Basically what he said was, "Love my fans and supporters. You all are fire. Met lots of you Saturday / this weekend / this week. Keep faith, MFers. One foot in front of the other. Remember what I said, crew. Sign champ CSO. Hashtag there is no success without struggle. Hashtag not retiring casuals. Hashtag eat a fat middle finger. One ya bunch of eunuchs." So with that being said, Tony Ferguson is not retiring, and I don't know why. I can go through the list of things. Matter of fact, I will go through the list of things. Tony Ferguson, you are on a 7-fight losing streak. You do not have it anymore. I just simply do not understand what's going through this guy's brain. It's bad. And the thing about Tony Ferguson now, man, is the fact that he has made some questionable decisions, and I think continuing to fight is probably the most questionable one so far to date. Listen, let's be honest here about Tony Ferguson, bro. He's on a 7-fight losing streak, like I mentioned before. He was training with David Goggins to fight Paddy Pimblett in preparation for his most recent fight against Paddy. He used David Goggins as his main training camp tool to beat Paddy Pimblett, and he lost by unanimous decision, pretty clear, 30-27. He got out-grappled. He is on a 7-fight losing streak. He has, obviously gotten worse. He is visibly looked not like Tony Ferguson, and we have had some little moments of Tony where he looked like he has a chance to beat somebody, like against Chandler, maybe times at the end of the 3rd round against Paddy Pimblett. But overall, it has looked very bad for him. He is old, he is slow, his chin is wearing down rapidly, and he has taken a lot of damage throughout his career. And the worst thing of all is that now he's not even making the correct decisions in his training camp to at least salvage that veteranness that he might have. There is no more saving Tony Ferguson. His career is done, and I want this message to go across very well to you guys and to Tony Ferguson, even though he probably won't ever see this video in the first place because it probably won't get any views, but who cares? Tony, you're not him. It's not there anymore. You just don't got it. And I hate saying that, man, but I have to be realistic in this, and the fact that at this point in your career, what are you trying to prove? The last thing I want to see, man, is Tony Ferguson on a media day or a press conference saying, you know what, only 8 more fights to win in a row to get my title shot. No, I don't want to see you get chinned out cold again like against Michael Chandler. I don't want to see you flatline on the ground seizing like Bryce Mitchell. I don't want to see it. And don't get me wrong, I like Tony Ferguson. That 12-fight win streak that he went on to not even get a belt was pretty rough to see as a fan. But he's not that guy that he used to be. And he's making really bad decisions by continuing to fight. You just lost to an unranked Paddy Pimblett. Who are you going to beat, man? Maybe you can beat some unranked lightweight that's like making their debut who's trash. It might even take CM Punk to come back to get Tony Ferguson a win. But right now, for the betterment of his life and his career, it might just be time for him to retire. There's no more justification in him taking more brain damage. He already threw holy water on his kid because he was having a CTE fit. It was pretty bad. He got a DUI. He flipped his car at one point. There's obviously outside factors that are playing into your fighting game and in your own personal life. And maybe Tony Ferguson should focus on, getting his life together outside of the the octagon before trying to stay in the octagon and take more damage. The worst thing I want to hear in about, what, 10, 15 years from now is Tony Ferguson doing some bad things because of his brain damage. He's already a personality and he might have some screws loose already. We know that. But I don't want it to progressively get worse as time goes on. Listen, after him getting KO'd by Michael Chandler out cold for the first time, at that point, he should have been done. It should have been over. Maybe fight one more time, but fight somebody who you know you can beat, or somebody that you could probably easily beat. And you might be saying, you know what, that was Paddy Pimblett. He should have beaten Paddy Pimblett. No, I think everybody in their right mind was picking Paddy to win that. He shouldn't have fought Paddy. He shouldn't have fought anybody. And it's so apparent that his chin is wearing down because of the fact, dude, when Paddy Pimblett is dropping you and hurting you on the feet, don't you think it's time? Isn't it time? When Paddy Pimblett drops you and hurts you and almost ground and pounds you out, isn't it time to call it a career? Because obviously you can't strike anymore. When you watch Paddy Pimblett strike, you know it's not good. It's like, that's me being nice to Paddy right now. His striking defense is some of the worst in the UFC that I've seen, and him almost being a ranked contender right now and having that level of striking is absolutely abysmal. But Tony Ferguson, you're getting dropped by him. You're getting put down by him, and he has some of the worst technique that I've ever seen at a very high level in MMA, and especially in the lightweight division. And you're telling me you still have some left in the tank and you can still go? Not in the UFC, man. I hate to break it to you, man. Just not in the UFC. Maybe we'll see Tony Ferguson in Bellator, or sorry, PFL now, because I just bought out Bellator. But I don't think one championship's offer him anything. And the UFC, bro, like Dana said it himself, man. The best thing for Tony Ferguson right now is for him to retire, and he would love to see him retire. I would love to see Tony retire. I think the majority of people would love to see Tony retire. I'm genuinely worried for this man.
I would love to see Tony retire.
At what point does somebody in his life talk to him? Because I don't think anybody's getting through to him right now. I don't think anybody in his personal life, anybody in the outside media scene is getting to his head that it's time for him to retire. I don't know if anybody's talking to him about it. I'm sure there are people in his personal life that are talking to him about it, but dude, how much damage can you take? You took a lot of damage against Justin Gaethje. Like, I might just do the stats right now and give you how many significant strikes he has taken in his last 5 fights. So I just did the math. Tony Ferguson has taken over 578 significant strikes in his past 7 fights, with one of them being a flatline KO by Michael Chandler, which got cut short, and also one of them being a knockdown by Paddy Pimblett. And we know against Bobby Green, he took a lot of shots. We know against Charles Oliveira, he got out-grappled and put into a very nasty armbar. Justin Gaethje, I mean, there was a lot of strikes to the head that landed for Gaethje, and he's a power puncher. I mean, come on, bro. You ate 101 shots from Nate Diaz and lost, and then tapped out to a guillotine that pretty much wasn't even in. Tony, bro, it's over. It's over, man. And you've taken so much damage. I just can't see him take any more. I don't want him to take any more. I want him to just retire and just be that guy who we look back on and was like, you know what, Tony was a great fighter. That 12-fight win streak will be remembered forever. I want him to just stop, but he won't stop. He has to keep going. And this is the issue with fighters nowadays, man. Once they get to a certain point in their career, they just don't want to stop fighting. And I don't know if it's a financial reason why he wants to keep fighting. I know that most veterans, the reason why they keep on fighting because they've been in the UFC for so long and they were there when it like first came up, and so they weren't making as much money. Then now that they're fighting now and the market has risen or risen, there's now more money into the sport. So now these veterans are kind of getting their paychecks now because they didn't really get some back then. But I don't think Tony has that issue right now, man. He has fought the best of the best. He's been around for a long time. He peaked at a good time when the UFC was also peaking with McGregor around. So I don't think it's a financial reason why he's staying around, but he needs to be over, man. He needs to call it quits. He needs to retire and just give up that career, man. You've had a great career, Tony. I want to see you live a long, healthy life. And if you continue fighting, I don't know if that's in the cards for you. Tony Ferguson, I respect you. You were an amazing fighter, but please, for the sake of your health, I'm begging, please retire, please. But I don't think he will retire. I don't think he'll listen to anybody, not even me especially, some random guy on the internet. But this video happens to get like, 100K views, Maybe he might listen to me. I don't know. It probably won't. I'm being very optimistic right now, but I don't know, man. That's all I have for you guys today in this video. If you enjoyed it, I guess like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for notifications. Tony Ferguson, I'm begging you, please retire. Please, please. Peace.